Sometimes it feels as though the world pushes against me. An unseen current pressing on my body, on my path, on my becoming. Even my own body joins this resistance, and for a long time I believed it was trying to stop me. Now I listen, because there are moments when everything seems to ask me to step back. The world, my body, the pace of things. What once felt like rejection now feels like redirection, an invitation to pause, to widen my view. And in the stepping back, I am offered perspective, a chance to see the larger pattern from a distance, like a guide gently shaking me back to my why, to my core. A reminder that I am not here to see only in one way. I am not here to see in only one way. That I can exercise creative ways of seeing, deeper ways, truer ways, and trust that this too is part of the path. I don't need to see in the same way that everyone else does, I keep reminding myself. I don't need to see in the same way that everyone else does. It can feel disorientating being blind, keeping up with the pace of the world, when my own eyes face difficulty trying to catch up. But what's more disorientating is living a life not fully lived. And so I live on my own terms, making choices to take risks, to do things that my soul feels aligned with, because I can, not because I can't, because of whatever limitation has been imposed on me by the sights of others. Is this imposition, this projection of these limitations from others, a sign of fear? What is it that they fear around blindness? Questions I am always asking them, and wisdom I am forever seeking. As I take a deep breath, I recognize that there's been an all-knowing feeling inside of me that has been surfacing recently. It's a feeling that every journey begins long before your thirst, breath, long before your feet touch the ground, long before the sun greets your skin, before you are even birthed into this world, long before you open your eyes to see for the first time. Some journeys begin in the bones, in memories older than memory, the ones we carry without knowing. And here in Turkey, in these ancient landscapes, something in me felt called home. A land shaped by goddesses and warriors, by silence, mysteries, darkness, and stories. Even if I cannot see clearly with these physical eyes, I can feel it. A place where the stones themselves whisper, where Artemis, goddess of nature, fertility, protection, and wild womanhood, once stood tall, honoured, and unashamed. I walk here with my cane, through these grounds, feeling the earth hum beneath my feet, feeling the echoes of a time when women were sacred, when community meant survival, and when people lived close to the land rather than far from themselves. And I ask myself, how did they live? Who laughed here? Loved here? Fought here? What did they see before the fire came that brought this wonder of the world down? Before cities like Ephesus burned and became stories almost buried beneath the soil. I navigate by touch, by sound, by instincts and energy. And maybe these are the same senses that ancient travellers once relied on too. Would I have been known as a medicine woman then? Or would I have burned in another time, another life, for the healing and quiet magic I tried to carry into this darkened world? There are lifetimes where I imagine I would not have lasted long. History remembers what was done to women and to their children, especially those of certain bloodlines, certain gifts, certain differences like mine. I imagine festivals beneath open skies, in different times, in different timelines, people dancing, feasting, singing, families gathered under moonlight, sun and stars. I imagine hands raised to the heavens, painting stories with constellations, turning scattered stars into sacred art. The goddess Artemis is associated with this place, Ephesus, and she was worshipped as protector of women, of nature, of birth. And I wonder now, what would our world feel like if we still honoured feminine energy like this? I further navigate in my journey, I imagine people selling spices in these ancient towns, carving stories into marble, building and creating lives with their bare hands, just as my grandfather did as he shaped and built gravestones for those who passed to the other realms. What remains now of spaces like this is fragile, yet still breathing, like the wounds that we say that have gone. And walking through projected ancient streets felt like stepping into a memory that I'd never lived before, or maybe I did. Maybe my ancestors walked here too. It isn't impossible. We could be related to anyone and connected to any place. That is why I believe we should move through the world with care and respect. Treat every space we enter as sacred, and every person we meet as a part of our wider family. Because we are all interconnected, threaded together across time and blood, story and soil. Nothing is coincidental. What if nothing was coincidental? We are all related, and everywhere and everyone in some way is home. What if this was true? What if it is true?
Now, for my first act this evening, I shall be bringing you all back to life. With a wave of my wand, you will be back from the dead. 1, 2, 3. No, it didn't work. Any other ideas? Abracadabra. No, that didn't work either. Well then, I guess we're just gonna have to wait.
I clung to my long cane a lot throughout my travels, sometimes hiding it away, afraid of what people might say, of the judgments they might cast before even knowing me, seeing me, knowing my story. This has happened, and this was my first time using my cane in Turkey, and to my surprise it was met not with discomfort but with welcome. And with that I felt welcomed to be in my own skin, not have to mask constantly, not have to hide myself away. And with that I learned that accessibility is not only built from ramps and signs, sometimes it is built purely and simply from kindness, from softness, from the choice to see rather than assume, from the choice to help and be supportive and kind. It is not about judging someone whose pain may be invisible, whose struggle does not announce itself. And I think in one way or another, we all know this feeling deep down of quiet pain, as we have all carried something unseen. People often tell blind people or those with health conditions what we cannot do. But the truth is this: fear is just another terrain. Every step that I took through ruins and sacred temples where goddesses were once worshipped was a step beyond the limits others tried to place on me. With each stone beneath my feet, I walked further against their expectations and more into myself. I stepped into my own power, into my own goddess nature, ancient, embodied, and awake. I chose my own limits. I choose my own limits. I am a powerful presence, and I am capable. Words are not just sounds, they are spells. Abracadabra, I create what I speak. You know that saying when we were younger, and they would say, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can't hurt me." That is not true. Abracadabra. I create what I speak. Words are not just sounds, they are spells. So choose what you speak and cast them wisely. Some people see the cane and think fragile. But fragility is not my story. My story is resilience, it's curiosity, it's courage. My story is choice. And I choose to live my story with ease, freely and wildly as I can. Sometimes that means breaking past barriers and presumptions, assumptions, proving people wrong along the way, but it's not really about that. It's about living my life as fully as I can. Sometimes that can be something as simple as picking olives off a tree for the first time. And as I did that, I imagined my ancestors doing the same. Dust on my skin, leaves whispering in the wind, fruit warm in my hand, and a joy that rushed through me as I took part in this delicate art. Sometimes it's about the little things that we do, the little things that go unseen that can bring a lot of joy. And to end off, I'd like to just remind you, so this is a reminder, that blindness is not the end of vision. It's simply another way of seeing. So life invites us to move in our own way, on our own terms. So notice yourself, your truth, your authenticity. We are all born from darkness into light. And this human life is a gift to feel, to learn, to grow, to play, to find magic beyond what our eyes can see. What if we listened more with our hands, our feet, our skin, felt the whispers of the world all around us, and experienced life in all its colours, all its depth, and endless shades? Even in darkness, the universe lights the path ahead, and the sun will always rise, even after the darkest of nights. So remember, your soul had a dream and your life was it. Rebecca Campbell. We are here to find that light and share it with the world. I hope my journey awakens something ancient in you too. A remembering, a curiosity, a courage waiting to be reclaimed. And may we all walk the earth with a little more wonder, a little more respect for the unseen, and a lot more trust in the magic of our own journey. Remember, a reminder that blindness is not the end of vision. It's simply another way of seeing.